Hey, what is happening? Welcome to the IMPACT Wrestling Review from November 15, 2018. And if you happen to be new here, please consider the wise decision of subscribing to this YouTube channel. This show came to us from Las Vegas, ending up with Tessa Blanchard, the current knockout champion, facing up against Ray Lane. This was a basic squash match, about 3 minutes long, and we saw Tessa Blanchard picked up the victory. Then after that, Tessa picked up the microphone and she called out Taya Valkyrie. Taya Valkyrie decided to show up to confront Tessa Blanchard, but Tessa ended up leaving the ring with the knockouts belt high. What are my thoughts on this? This was a somehow good opener. I would not have put on the first match someone like Rayling, who a lot of fans, myself included, are not that aware of. But outside of that, I get it. I get that they're trying to fit the current knockout champion with new knockouts for her to beat. So at the end of the day, this segment was a win. Next, we got KM and Fallah celebrating that they are gonna be facing during this episode the Latin American Exchange. LAX, the current Impact World Tag Team Champion. Next, we got the Rascals, and their gimmick right now on Impact Wrestling is that they're gonna be flying high in the ring and flying high outside of the ring. So they're gonna be the local pot heads. So let's see how they are able to make that gimmick work with the ring, make that transition, and how they can put that together into a solid and cohesive and entertaining thing to watch. Next, we got KM and Fallah versus the current Impact World Champion, the Latin American Exchange, LAX. Contrary to popular believe it or not, Fallah and KM did have a lot of offensive during this match, but it was not good enough. We saw LAX beating them with a leg drop and a moonsault at the same time, a maneuver very jump bug esque. What are my thoughts on this? This was good. It is good always seeing KM and Fallah. There happen to be a good tag team. They also kind of taste the water of doing a tag team babyface versus a tag team babyface match without the public turning on either of the tag teams. So consider this a dry run of the reactions between the Latin American Exchange versus the Lucha Brothers, a match that sooner rather than later it is gonna be happening here on Impact Wrestling. Next we got Heather Monroe cutting a promo because she, during this episode, gonna be facing former Knockouts champion Su Yung. But Kiera Hogan decided to appear and let her know, hey, be careful. This Su Yung girl, she is a demonic entity. She's full of evil, so please take care of yourself because she is gonna destroy you if you're sleeping at the wheel. Next, we got a segment with Scarlett Bordeaux with some homeless people like in a parking, and she decided to hire one of them later on. Next, we got the Latin American Exchange at their hideout place, and Santana and Ortiz throwing la puya that they want to face the Lucha Brothers sooner rather than later, but Conan doesn't want them to face each other, and he ended up leaving the place. So they're building up the sea, and it looks more than anything that Conan would rather be around, the Lucha Brothers than with LAX. This is why he gets so triggered when LAX mentioned that they want to face the Lucha Brothers. Next, we got a short promo with Max Sydal and Ethan Page. Max Sydal, by the way, was gonna be facing the Impact World Champion, Johnny Impact, during this episode. Next, we got the Desi Head Squad. They are on some type of hotel and they are talking about Indian food and all the things that they miss back home. And one of the things that Mr. Sin mentioned is that he is either way thankful for being in the States, but Kama Singh and his son didn't like that. Therefore, on this next Thursday, that is gonna be the Thanksgiving edition of Impact Wrestling, they want to let the world know how they feel about American on Thanksgiving. I'm not a fan of this. I would rather have them the other way around, being foreigners that like America than the other way around. We have seen this play out too many times. Someone who is foreign who doesn't like America. That is like him burn already on wrestling. Try something new. What is the worst thing that it could happen? That it could bomb? I don't think so. That could be something a little bit fresh. May I remind you? Next, we got Eli Drake cutting down a promo because he's now pissed off at Abyss and he is pissed off at hardcore wrestling. And when you talk about hardcore wrestling, guess who's gonna show up? Tommy Dreamer. Let me put my thoughts before I could keep talking about this segment. I do not agree with almost anything with Jim Cornette, but there is one thing that he does get right, and it's this simple thought: how can I miss you if you won't go away? And this is the symptom that I'm feeling with Tommy Dreamer, and I bet there's a lot of people that feel like this. Hey, you're showing me too much, Tommy Dreamer. It could be good seeing him once or twice a year. That's good, no problems with me. But he's becoming too much of a regular for me to care and for him to stand out. Obviously, Tommy Dreamer and Eli Drake traded insults. Obviously, Eli Drake poking fun at hardcore wrestling, and Tommy Dreamer poking fun at Eli Drake tights jeans. And obviously, Eli Drake decided to challenge him into a fight, but he ended up backing down. Thoughts on this end of the segment? I was looking forward to see something a little bit more new when it comes down to Tommy Dreamer and Eli Drake, especially this angle of being a lawsuit. However, this turned into an angle we have already seen many times of a wrestler hating on hardcore wrestling. We already saw that like on 94 with Mick Foley when he didn't want it to be hardcore on ECW. We also saw that in 96 or 97 when Jerry the King Lawler he went down to ECW to kill hardcore wrestling. Then we saw that again with the network in ECW trying to tamper hardcore wrestling. Then we saw that like on 2006 between Ric Flair and Mick Foley, with Ric Flair hating Mick Foley because Mick Foley on his highs was a glorified stuntman. Therefore, if he could get rid of Mick Foley, he would have gotten rid of hardcore wrestling. This was a angle we have seen too many times. Why don't you try something new with Eli Drake? He's one of my favorite, enough if not my favorite wrestler right now, and I don't agree with this sentiment. If you don't agree with me or agree with me, let me know in the comment section. But I was looking forward for this to be something more, but it is just became the typical anti-hardcore angle. Next, we got Moose facing up with the wife of Eddie Edwards, Alicia Edwards, and kind of, fighting with him, but, Moose didn't give a rat's ass, the same as the female person who is with Moose. Next, we got Scarlett Bordeaux. She showed up with a drunk guy at the parking who was wearing some type of like fake security tattoos a la Chris Jericho in WCW. And obviously, they started to fuck a little bit with the referees. Good segment. It is good always seeing Scarlett Bordeaux. She's a star, and I think they laying in a good way her in ring debut. So when she finally gets on the ring, she's gonna be over big time. Next, we got Matt Sydal. First seen up against the current Impact World Champion in a non-World Champion match, Johnny Impact. Cool match. It was about 10 to 12 minutes long. Obviously, when you put these two people together, they are great mechanics, and you are gonna be seeing a lot of high flying around. At the end, obviously, we saw Johnny Impact hitting his, flipping net breaker, and then after that, the Starship Trooper, whatever the name of his finisher, and that was it. Winner, none other than Johnny Impact. Good stuff. He is feeling more of a TV champion, someone that fights every single episode on TV, but it is still good. I think they're trying to establish him as a franchise player, even though I think he is better as just as a transition champion. Next, guess who showed up? Killer Cross. He decided to show up and offer him his service. So if you want to keep that bell around your waist, make sure to give me a call, Killer Cross, and I'm gonna be, picking up the trash around you and making sure you could keep that belt. But Johnny Impact decided to decline that offer. So it looks like they're gonna be keeping, Killer Cross near the main event scene. So that is good. Good seeing that person over there. He's a student of a game, and he have a character, something that some of the talent in Impact Wrestling might be lacking for a while for on this time of the year, right? And also, we got Miss Grace, and we got, you know Katarina, trying to get him to join her. Katarina saying to her, "Hey, I think we could be a strong force together," but Miss Grace didn't have a time of a day for her. Next, we got Moose and Eddie Edwards brawling outside, and then we saw some guys wearing like nurse uh, clothes, and they took out Eddie Edwards. So it looks like Eddie Edwards is gonna be sent to the funny farm. I'm looking forward to that if they go on that direction. That is gonna be a lot of fun, something edgy that you don't see in wrestling no more anymore. Next, we are headed to the pre-main event match of the evening. We got Su Young versus Heather Young, another squash match about 2 minutes, something along those lines. We saw Su Young picking up the victory. Then, obviously, she ended up doing a choke on Miss Heather More, and Kiera Hogan decided to show up to do the save, but Su Young ended up finding her, and guess who showed up? The demonic Ali. Now she's wearing face paint, and she attacked Kiera Hogan and make sure Su Young was able to hit the panic attack on Kiera Hogan, and that's how this segment ended with the two of them being together. Good development. Good development. I think it is time to do something with them. This feels a lot more fresh than the stuff that they did a couple of weeks ago. And this is something that obviously does goes beyond the barrier of times and doesn't require any type of a special effects. Therefore, it ages a lot better. Let's see. Let's see when will Rosemary return. So that is the piece that it is missing. Somehow you could keep for the time being building around that speculation and build that character of Ali as the demonic entity, such as Suyeon, who is also full of devilish energy. Next, we got the main event of the evening. We got Sami Callihan facing up against Brian Cage for the X Division title. By the way, it was good seeing, Sami Callihan doing a couple of different maneuvers. Hell, he even bring down an angle lock. But that was not good enough. Mr. Brian Cage was able to pick him up and hit him with a drill claw. And that was it for Sami Callihan. So obviously it is great seeing this match. Obviously, Sami Callihan was moving kind of like a little bit weird because he haven't got that high octane match, singles match in quite a while. But it was not a good match. Obviously, they're putting the rocket on on Brian Cage, so he decided to do none other than drop the X Division belt and bring Option C back. So he is gonna be facing Johnny Impact at Homecoming. Good seeing the push of Brian Cage. Also good seeing them bring Option C back. I thought Option C was gonna be only for Destination X, but I guess since there is new bosses in town, they're playing around with the rules, but I'm not complaining about that. Let's hope Mr. Brian Cage is able to take the belt away from Johnny Impact because I see more out of Brian Cage than with Johnny Impact for the time being, especially if you do something more interesting with him rather than Johnny Impact, because at the end of the day, Johnny Impact might be leaving due to Survivor or other movies or something along those lines. Therefore, they need someone who is gonna be every single taping like Brian Cage. So someone that might need also the rub from a former champion and wielding that big belt for the first time on a mainstream US brand of wrestling. So that is it for me. I hope you enjoy this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the thumbs up and comment as you see fit, right? And bring down all the fun as always on the comment section. So that is it for me. Thank you a lot. And I will see you during this weekend. There's gonna be a couple of videos. So make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Goodbye. Thanks for watching and listening.